Hello, I'm Rebecca of Pocketful of Poseys. Today's video is extra special because I was asked by the wonderful Oralyn to pattern test their new pattern, the Robin Blouse. They wanted to extend the size range, and I was very happy to pattern test this great vintage inspired blouse. So without further ado, let's get into it. Here we go. I used size N based on my measurements. It went together easily, and I determined that I should have gone down a size. The pattern does have a lot of ease. I gave my results to Oralyn. Mostly the size of the arm size seemed way too big, even for a relaxed fit shirt. After they finalized the pattern, Oralyn sent me the finished pattern, and this time I went with size M. I got the pattern taped together and cut out. I picked this fun cake print for this project, but first I needed to wash and dry it. After pre-washing, I cut my blouse out. If you use the large sizes, you may need to cut the front blouse pieces out one at a time. My fabric was not wide enough to cut mine out folded lengthwise. You may have noticed that I totally forgot to add seam allowance. It was fine. I used a 1/4 inch seam allowance, and there is a good amount of ease. And also, don't be like me and cut the second front piece facing the same way as the front, or you will have to recut it. And then be afraid that you won't have enough fabric for your sleeves. But I did. Time to start assembling the blouse. I began by pinning and sewing the darts. Now to pin and sew the shoulder seams. I also stay stitched around the neckline. My next step was the collar. Pinned it wrong side to right side first, luckily realized my mistake and repinned. To the machine to sew the collar pieces on 3 sides, leaving the bottom edge open. I trimmed the seam allowance and clipped the corners of the collar. Next, I pinned the collar to the neckline. I was pinning my collar on, and I realized that I sewed the front pieces on backwards. So yeah, this anyway, so I'm gonna unpick the shoulder seams and resew those. Just having a very mistake-filled time of this. This blouse is pretty easy. It was pretty easy when I did the mock-up, except for I did sew or cut one piece inside out, which I did this time as well, even knowing that I had done it wrong on the mock-up. So it's that kind of time. So off we go. Of course, my seam rippers were nowhere to be found. I used small snips to unpick the shoulder seams. Now to repin the shoulder seams, making sure it's correct this time. I got to work repinning the collar to the neckline. Lucius joined me as I eased in the collar. To the machine to sew the collar on. I took my time to make sure it was even. And then, why hello. I don't know what I am doing at this moment. I just sewed my collar on, and apparently I had pinned it on one side to the wrong mark. So I need to take the collar off and repin it and re-sew it. I don't know why I did this. Yeah. So there you go. Fixed that mistake and moved on to the center front. I pinned it wrong the first time. My head was just not in the game. I sewed the top edges of the facings, stopping at the collar, trimmed, clipped the corners, and turned them out. Next, I pinned the collar over the raw edges on the inside. I sewed it by hand with a whip stitch. Mail! Some of my Halloween fabrics arrived. This one is an Alexander Henry print. I love these little witches. Another Alexander Henry print, Regency skeletons. Love. I got this brown print to use with it. I'm thinking a gunny sack style dress. What do you think? Let me know down in the comments. I ironed the button plackets and top stitched them on the machine. Sleeves! The sleeves are pinned on before sewing the sleeve seams or the side seams. After sewing the sleeves on, the entire side is sewn, including the sleeve seam, in one go. This was very interesting. I had never done that before. I hemmed the sleeves and bottom edge of the blouse with a 1/4 inch double fold hem. All that was left to do were the buttonholes and buttons. I marked where I wanted my buttons to go and sewed them with a small zigzag stitch on my machine. I got my vintage shell buttons sewn on, then my Robin blouse was complete. I really like this blouse. Despite my own silly mistakes along the way, I think it turned out to be really cute. Many thanks to Orlin for asking me to pattern test. I do find the sleeves to be a bit large on me still, but you may not find that to be the case. I definitely recommend this pattern. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you spending your time with me. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like, subscribe if you haven't, and if you'd like to be notified whenever I upload, hit that little bell icon. If you'd like to support the channel further, I have a Ko-fi account, and that is linked down below. Please check the description down below for all of Oralyn's information, and I will see you again on our next sewing adventure. Bye!